It's playful pedagogy, leveraging games for effective and joyful world language instruction. Games can be so much in a language classroom. They can be a way to facilitate communication and joy in our students, but they can also be like the main vehicle through which language is acquired, depending upon how you do it. And Valentina and I have a lot of both like theory things to share with you, but also practical games that you could play right away in your classroom. So I'm going to go ahead and get into our first slide. So why? Why play games? This is, for your own knowledge, but also for like the principal that says, why are you spending your classroom playing games? They're brain friendly. They lower the affective filter. So that's this filter we have that doesn't allow new information to pass over into long-term memory that we have raised when we're stressed out. And they increase dopamine, putting us in an optimal learning state.
Engagement. When we are playing games, the students forget they are learning a new language, and they can serve as a brain break too. So some games could help you to teach the language, and others just serve as a brain break just to have the lower filter.
Yes. And motivation, they're super, super motivating. I can't tell you how many times I've been playing a game and I've had kids like reach for new ways to say things or put things together in ways that they never had before just because they were motivated to say it for the game.
They are great for repetition, for practice. And I want to say something really quickly. Sometimes we forget that we're teaching kids, and middle school teachers forget that they are kids. They are still being kids, and it's okay to play games. So I actually think that older students enjoy the games more than the elementary teachers. So let's not forget that.
I think even Valentina, adults enjoy games too. I know that sometimes games just start, they turn it from like a bunch of strangers into people that know each other and enjoy being with each other. They also provide meaningful context for an exchange of communication, which is what we're trying to do, right? Is to foster meaningful communication. And you can do a lot of that via games.
And they are great for differentiation. They can be adapted really easily to work with all students in all proficiency levels.
And last but not least, it helps us to solidify concepts in long-term memory. So it really helps us to get those extra repetitions we need to actually acquire the language and be able to use it in real life, which is what we all want. So without further ado, we're going to play some games and teach you some of our favorite games to do in the classroom. This one is called Se Mueve. And Se Mueve, if you are not a Spanish teacher, just means you move. And I did this when I needed these are actually pre-kindergarten students, and I needed to get them moving. I also needed them to learn some body parts. And so all I did was I started saying, se mueve, se mueve, se mueve. And when I say that, the kids move all around the room in any safe way that they want. When I say no se mueve, which means don't move, they have to freeze. And then I look for whichever kid is moving. And it's not only a great way to get them moving, to get some, words like se mueve in their head, but also it's a great way to practice body parts. And this game I've heard teachers play up to through high school very successfully. But with especially the little ones, this is the stillest and quietest I have ever seen this age of children. So we're going to go to the video for proof. Can you hear it? Siéntate. Se mueve. Se mueve, se mueve, se mueve, se mueve, se mueve, se mueve, se mueve. No se mueve. Stay there. I didn't know they could be that still. Se mueve, siéntate, se mueve, siéntate. I'm just saying, you move, sit down. Se mueve, 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 no se mueve. Se mueve, Sophie, siéntate, sí. It's a super fun game, and it's no teacher prep. You just say move, don't move, and talk about body parts. The kids will play it over and over. It's great for a brain break, but it's more than just a brain break. It's also, functional exchange of language and a meaningful exchange of language.
And body
Oops.
control, I mean, they are controlling how they look like a picture. I'm impressed.
They do. And with kids that little, having them be that still is very surprising.
Yes. All right, this one is one of my favorite. My students love this game. I teach elementary, but I have shared this in groups with middle school students, and I know that some teachers try it. This is a version that I adapted for a Colombian game that is called Frío Caliente, where you hide an object. And then if you get close to the object, the person says, caliente, caliente, tibio, 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 caliente, caliente means hot, hot, hot if you are getting closer to the object. And if you are going far away, frío, 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 which is cold. So I adapted this game because I wanted to practice high frequency words. So the name of the game is called Busca Busca. And then what you need to do is you are going to pick one student from your class, and that student is going to leave the room for 1 minute. And then you are going to take an object. I also love that the object could be related with a topic that you are teaching. So let's say that you're talking about winter clothes. So you can take a small object and then find, for example, the scarf. So you have to hide the object. The whole class is going to see where you are hiding it. And then once you hide it, the student comes in. The whole class has to guide the student. And I have a rule that is really important, especially with elementary. Once the student come in the room, the students are going to guide them with 2 words. One is si me gusta, the other one is no me gusta. If they say si me gusta, it means they are getting closer to the object. If they say no me gusta, they are going far away. So I like it, I don't like it. And if they get close to the object, they say, busca, busca, look for it, look for it. It's important that you do one step, the student makes one step, and the class will say one word. One step, one word, because otherwise it gets a little messy. So I'm going to show you the video, just you can see how my students play it. Un estudiante en la clase no ve. Un estudiante no ve. Sí me gusta, sí me gusta, sí me gusta. No me gusta, sí me gusta. Sí me gusta, sí me gusta, sí me gusta, sí me gusta. No me gusta, no me gusta, no me gusta, no. No me gusta, sí me gusta, sí me gusta. Busca, busca, sí me gusta. Yeah, I also try it with si puede, no puede, so you can adapt it depending of the level or the words that you want to practice. I believe there are some, you can go to my blog post, and I think there are the cards that you can download, the ones that I show in the video. So if you want to scan that barcode.
I love that game because it's like the authentic exchange of information. They're listening to their peers communicate where they're supposed to be looking, and then they acquire those really important phrases. That's fabulous.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next game I'm going to ask you to play, I started doing hide and seek with my students this way when we were trapped home from COVID and everyone was virtual. And I was teaching at 5 different schools, 10 classes a day. And I would have all these blank faces of kids that were like, not wanting to talk. And so I started playing games as a way of getting them more involved. And this is virtual hide and seek. And you can do it with a house, as you see here. You can do it with like a city. I've done it with a city and label different places in the city. You could do it with places in a building, like in a school, like you have to learn the cafeteria and the office and all of those different places. So there's lots of different applications. And all I do is the students already know these words. So I would go through all of these with them, and we would do the gesture for them to kind of get them in their head. And then one person is the hider. And the hider has to tell the teacher a number secretly. And then everyone else has to raise their hand to try and guess where the hider is. So it's numbered. So your students who are, a little bit lower in proficiency and are not quite ready to say the Spanish word like el baño could just say número dos, number 2, or dos. That means everyone can play, even the kids who aren't ready to produce language. But also the nice thing is that once your kids get more familiar with the words, you can get more specific. Like you could, if a kid was hiding in the bedroom, you could say, okay, well, where in the bedroom? It could be in the closet or under the bed. So as you play the game, it can get more advanced as you go. So I'd like to play at least one round. Would anyone be willing to be the hider? In the elementary classroom, everyone fights over this. So is anyone willing to be the hider?
I'll do it. If nobody else is gonna do it, I'll do it.
Okay, Valentina is going to be the hider.
Okay, I'll do it.
Oh, who said? Oh,
Hey!
is it Chio? Or who
wait.
said I'll do it?
Yeah, I can be the hider. Yeah.
Oh, Chio! Yay! Okay, perfect. So Chio, what I need for you to do is in the chat, send just me a message and send me the room that you are hiding in. Just send me, you can send me just the number. And so you can play this game virtually with your students too if you need to.
Okay.
Which is nice.
Okay.
So Chio's going to send me, okay. Is that Chio or Jean that was going to be it?
Jeannie.
Okay, Jean, I'm sorry. I saw another hand up. I was looking at more than one person. All right.
That-
Thank you, Jean. All right, Jean, I know where Jean is. Clase. So if I was talking to my class, I would say, Clase, ¿dónde está Jean? Which for our non-Spanish speakers is where is Jean? So raise your hand to guess where Jean is. Valentina?
The kitchen. La cocina.
La cocina. Oh, good guess, pero no está en la cocina. So I always say good guess, even if it's like the farthest room. And then it gives you a chance to say the words again. No, they're not in the kitchen. No está en la cocina. I might even cross it off, or sometimes I leave it uncrossed so kids have to be paying attention the whole time to guess where they're at. Bailey, ¿dónde está Jean?
¿Está en el baño?
Really good guess, pero no está en el baño. Casi, almost. Really good guess. So, Jean no está, she's not in la sala or no está en la cocina, class A. Which one is she not in? Go ahead and call out.
No está en la
Cocina.
cocina.
Sí, no está en la cocina, profe, forgot. A lot of times I'll pretend I forgot just so I can get more repetitions of the words. No está en la cocina y no está en el baño. ¿Dónde está Jean? Es un misterio. It's a mystery. Where is she? Karen.
Está en el sótano.
Ooh, good guess. The spooky sótano. Pero no está en el sótano, ni la cocina, ni el baño. She's such a good hider. ¿Dónde está Jean? Claudia. Oh, you know what? I was looking at the wrong number. I'm sorry. See, Jean, you were right. Was that Karen? Karen es súper inteligente. And profe was looking at the wrong number. Jean sí está en el sótano, clase. Jean está en el sótano. Fantástico. And if your class was advanced enough, and yes, my super smart class, give yourself a little chocolate high five from far away is what I used to do. You could, then I would have whoever had guessed would get to be the next hider. And you can go on over and over playing this game. You could even print this out and have your kids play in small groups. So this is a game you can get a lot of mileage out of, or you can just play for 5 minutes at the end of class. But again, it works really well with the city, and it works really well with like other places where you're labeling multiple places. Yay, thank you for playing with me. Valentina, te toca a ti.
Okay, this one, I also came up with this idea during pandemic. I love that we came up with all these new ideas and now we could use it in the classroom. So this game is called If You Like It, You Move. So what I tell my students is that they have to do it in place because of course I teach elementary and I don't want 20 bodies running around the room. It's not gonna be safe. So if you wanna play with me, that would be great. So I'm going to stand up, and if you wanna just do it, I will explain you. So camina, we all camina in place. Muy bien. Oh, Emanuela, gracias. Corre. Baila. Muy bien, Bailey, baila. Y salta. So once you introduce the actions, and I spend a little bit time on this, I will share pictures. And I do this game depending of the season. So I have different versions on my blog that you can download also for free. So Eric, I'm ready for the next one. Oh, si te gustan las flores, corre. So if students like the flowers, they have to move. Si te gustan las flores, corre, 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 para. And then I tell things like this, and then I say again, para. Muy bien, siguiente. Si te gusta el sol, salta. Salta. Para. Salta. And then I will ask questions. I also will do a little bit of circling like, oh, Emanuela, ¿te gusta el sol? Sí, sí me gusta el sol. And they will answer it. And depending of the picture, I will ask a little bit more questions and then we keep going. Uno más. Si te gusta montar en bicicleta, camina. Oh, muy bien. A Bailey le gusta montar en bicicleta. A Emanuela. A Blanca. Muy bien. And then you can ask questions. What color is your bicycle? Different kind of things depending on the picture. Muy bien. And I think we have one more maybe. Si te gusta. No, this one is the same. Okay. And that is the game. You could, I have different versions. So I have the winter version. I have a spring, I have summer, different versions on my blog. So you can download those as well. And
I did go ahead and just to say, I put the link to your blog in the chat now, and we'll do it again at the end, but that way, just so everyone knows that's the link she's referencing.
okay, thank you.
And Erica, there was a question, I think, about the house photo, if there was a specific website you use.
I think so. This was a long time ago. It was during the pandemic. I think I just like Googled like a cut house, and I just used one of the free versions that I found that Google likes to provide. Okay. So someone said I had to come up with a name. I don't know if this is a good name for this activity, but I call them interactive stories with a twist. And what they are their stories. And I tell almost the exact same story over and over and over and over. And everyone is either acting out the story at the same time, or they're participating in the story at the exact same time. And the twist is that something different happens at the end of all of these stories. And I blogged about this a while ago, and I have had teachers tell me they have done this as late as high school and that their high schoolers love it. I will tell you, my elementary students would have let me do this the entire class and then ask to do it again the next day. So I'm going to show you two videos because it's kind of a little bit easier to understand when you see it. But this one is just called La Casa, and I have, house vocabulary to teach them. So they have gestures they know for each of the vocabulary words, and they have sound effects they're supposed to make at certain times. But then I change little details in the story, and they're all acting it out. And I can tell by what they're doing how much they're processing, who's getting every single little detail, who's just kind of following along with the class. And so this story, La Casa, I tell them, you're in your house, it's nighttime, and they make nighttime sounds. You'll see it in a minute. I'm saying you're in your house. They draw a house, in your room, in your bed, and you're sleeping when suddenly you hear a noise. And all of their eyes are closed at this point, and I make some sort of low-tech noise. You'll see, not very fancy. And then I say, you wake up. You open one eye, or sometimes I'll say you open two eyes. You stand up slowly, you look out the window, and there's this whole process where they eventually get to open the door. And it's the thing on the other side of the door is the only thing that I change in the story, other than like whether they got up slowly or quickly, whether they opened one eye or two eyes, whether they went to the window or the door first. But all of these little details not only reinforce these words in their head, but also you can see kind of just by watching them where they're at. So I'm going to show you what it looks like in real life. Clase es la noche. Estás en la casa, en el cuarto, en la cama. Se duerme. Cuando He's got one eye open.
Se levanta muy despacio.
So some went up quick and some got up slowly.
Camina a la ventana. Mira por la ventana. No hay nada. Hace muy despacio. Camina a la puerta. Abre la puerta. Clase. ¡Es un error! ¡Es un error! ¡Cierra la puerta! ¡Corre a tu cuarto! ¡Salta a la cama! ¡Corre con la mañana, mami! ¡Ya! ¡Se
And the thing at the door is always different. But they would play this every day, all day, if I let them. So they love it. They're all engaged. They're all listening. They're all getting their repetitions in. So that one's super fun. And then the other one I'm going to show you really quickly is me duele, which just means it hurts me in Spanish. And so in this one, it's a little bit different. One person gets to be the school secretary. And the school secretary in our building was the person who got to decide if you were going to go home or if you had to go back to class if you were sick. One person is the kid who's pretending to be sick. And they have to, and then the class are the kind of like the judges. And so the person who's pretending to be sick goes up, and then sometimes I have a door because the kids like to play the door, and the door is just a person that stands and opens like a door. So the person who's sick goes to the office and they really want to go home. So we all know that they're faking and they pretend to be sick, all in Spanish. And then the class does thumbs up if they think, yeah, they did a good job, and they get to go home, and they do thumbs down if they think that they were faking, obviously, and they should go back to the classroom. But it's the secretary, whoever's playing that role, that gets the ultimate decision. She or he looks at what the class is thinking and gives thumbs up or thumbs down. And then the sick kid becomes the secretary and someone else becomes the sick kid. And again, they would do this one over and over and over. And I'm going to show you just a few seconds from the beginning so you can see how I set it up. And then I'll show you one of my favorite performers.
Es señora Bacala en la oficina.
So it's
¿Quién es señora Bacala en la oficina? ¿Quién? Gracias. ¿Quién está enfermo? ¿Quién está enfermo?
You can hear the kids all, already fake coffee and practicing their acting skills. I'm just going to fast forward because we had someone who did a really stellar acting job, and I want you to be able to catch his performance.
Parker, siéntate una vez más. ¿Quién está enfermo?
Already into it.
Josh? Benjamin está muy enfermo. Parker, mira a Benjamin. ¿Qué te duele? ¿Me duele?
El estómago y mi garganta y mi ojo.
¿Todo? Parker, ¿a casa o a escuela? ¡A escuela!
I thought that was funny because he really did a next level performance, but Parker still decided he was going back to school. So these are really, really low teacher prep. You can come up with one for almost any set of vocabulary that you need to practice. And the kids really like it because they're all involved. They're exchanging, language, and they're having fun.
I love it. The role play games are great.
They are. They always make me laugh.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you. I'm gonna try those with my elementary students. Okay, this one is called Hispanos, and I love this game because I wanted to teach my elementary students about Hispanic countries, and I didn't know how to, so I came up with this idea. I practice basically sound letters with this game. I also practice how to say the names in Spanish, but also like we do geography because I show them what the countries are. And so this is called Hispanos. There are the 21 flags of the Hispanic countries. And then, can you see me? I have my countries with me. So what I do is I tell them that if they have the first letter, in this case will be C, in their name, last name, middle name, they have to stand up. So for example, if I say Colombia, and I have it in my name, in my last name or middle name, I stand up. So if someone in the yeah, I see some people doing it already. Okay, great. So that's what we are going to do. You just have to stand up. And then when I show the card that says Hispanos, what they do is they have to walk around and find a new place and sit in a different chair. And they have to say Hispanos. And the rule is that they cannot sit next to the person that they were before, because most of the time they used to they try to sit next to their best friends. So my rule is you cannot sit next to the same person that you were before. So we're gonna do a little bit of it. So the idea is that I say it and you will also say it with me. So maybe Erica can help me. You repeat it with me twice. So I say, El Salvador.
El Salvador.
España.
España.
Uruguay.
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 Right now, the students will be saying they have it in their left. Hey, Guinea Ecuatorial. Guinea Ecuatorial.
Ecuatorial.
And Hispanos. So everybody say Hispanos.
Hispanos.
And then we move around, and then I usually. When I am playing the game, I ask them like, ¿cuántos colores tiene la bandera de Guinea Ecuatorial? Or for example, I could say, ¿qué países tienen amarillo? And then they can say, oh, Colombia, Ecuador. They love the game. They also love it. They love it because they have to think about their name. So it's all about them. But also I have students who find a connection like, oh, I know someone from this country, or I have been in this country. So it's great for creating community, for doing movement, teaching the country's geography. So it has a little bit of everything.
It's magical. I love it. We are down, I'm seeing, to our last 3 minutes. So my wondering is do you want to do questions with our last 3 minutes, or do you want us to teach you one more game? First of all, does anyone have any questions? We should probably say.
One more game, one más juegos, one more game. Okay, I guess we go
All right.
for one more.
One more game.
Yes, I have the flags in. I see there is they are asking me if I have this in my TPT, and yes, I do. I have it there.
Excellent. I'm going to go over this one quickly. Maybe we would even have, or do you want to do yours, Valentina?
No, I don't know. You can share this one. I'm not really sure which one is next.
So this one is just, it's a really great way to build community, exchange authentic communication, just all the good things, get to know each other. And there's a couple of different ways to play, but what I usually do is I have my students sit in a circle and we just go around, and a kid stands up and they say me gusta, and they say something that they like. I tried to put things in here I thought that teachers would like. If you agree with them, you stand up. If you disagree with them, you sit down. And if you don't know, you do this, which is the ASL for I don't know. And part of what I really like doing with my students when I play this game is to kind of have a discussion about, like, one of the things that makes the world interesting is that we're not all the exact same. So just because I like chocolate and you don't, doesn't mean one of us is right and one of us is wrong. Because if we were all the exact same, the world would be a super boring place. So we always talk about being respectful of each other. And, it starts to get a kind of a growth mindset into students' heads and helps them to be more open-minded. So I usually start with a few phrases like this on my board, but then also kids are allowed to say me gusta, which is I like, and then something that's not there. And if it's a word I can provide them, I give them that word. But I also tell them they can't say people. And we don't do politicians either, just because we want to keep this to be like a community building thing. And I always give them the example, like if someone said me gusta profe, I like my teacher, and only half the class stood up, I would feel sad. So no saying like I like or don't like certain people. So we'll play one round since we just have enough time. But give me thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't, and then the I don't know symbol if you don't know. So I will say me gusta el café. I like coffee. And then I might even count. I might be like, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, 8 personas, les gusta el café. So you can count. And then I might say, oh, a Belly le gusta el café un poquito, a little bit. Belly likes it a little bit. And so my kids started going, okay, can we do this if we like it a lot and this if we like it a little? So they wanted to add more. And so we could add words like mucho or un poco, a little bit or a lot. One other thing you can do, and this is the last thing I'll say, is you can set this up where you sit kids in a circle on chairs and have one fewer chairs than people, and then have the person stand in the middle and say their I like statement. And then anyone that agrees with them stands up and they all just switch places. And whoever the person that's left in the middle is the one that makes the next I like statement. Though I always let my students pass if they're not. Most kids really want to play the game, but I always let them pass if they're not ready. And unfortunately, this went by really quickly. We knew that it would. We are out of time for we had a few other games planned just in case, but I wanted to get to this slide. This is how you can reach out to me. This is where Valentina's website is. And then this is just for general information from Voces.